Welcome to this witch farm tutorial. There are 3 download links below. One is the link of the tutorial world, one is the link of the time-lapse world, and one is the Xisumavoid. The time-lapse world is the one I'm going to make in the tutorial. That world would be look something like this. This is the farm we're going to build. Download in the description. The nicest part about this system is that it's still working 1.9. It's really fast. It has higher rates than the one of Xisumavoid, and it doesn't use much redstone. It isn't much complicated. It's really stackable. This is just to control stuff. There's one line controlling the stuff. Here's 2 lines controlling the stuff connected to our clock. The clock is right here in this world, but in the tutorial world it will be up there. This is just to test it out. In this test world you can do your own test, like saying you want a test of 10 seconds, you just edit it to 10, you start the clock and we'll start a test of 10 seconds for you, so you can see the mobs going down there. Nice test, and everything else you can just download it and see it for yourself, but let's crack on with the tutorial. So, welcome to this witch farm tutorial for Minecraft 1.9. First thing you need to do is to find yourself witch huts like this one. Then you need to mark out the borders of the spawning area. The spawning area is 9 blocks deep, seen from the front of the witch hut, like one more block, like that. And it's 7 blocks wide, like so. Then it's also 7 blocks high, like that. Then mark out this whole border with some kind of blocks of choice, so you know later what the area was. Just complete this whole construction on all the sides, so later on in this tutorial you know exactly where the spawning area is. The mobs in this could spawn on top of these blocks, not in the blocks, on top of the blocks. I also highly recommend you to remove the surface and light up the caves in 128 blocks radius. This is so there will be less mobs around the witch hut and more witches in the witch hut. So if you've done that part, the mobs can spawn on any of these blocks, so this could be a mob, and this could be a mob, for examples, on any of these blocks, also on the inside. So to start off with, we're going to start with placing some blocks right there, like so. They are in a pattern, as you can see. Then place fence gate and open them in between. You cannot place fence gate on mid-air like here. Place the block below that, then place the fence gate and open the gates. So that's the first layer. So the second layer is going to be one lower than that, like on this place. Do the same story we did above, but then on this layer, so the trapdoors again, then 2 in the middle, and you support it. So for the last layer we're going to do only the above layer, because the mobs won't spawn on this one, they only will spawn on this block. So we do it like that. Like so. And now you have your spawning spaces. This is the spawning spaces of one layer. So what you need for this is grab yourself the pistons, the redstone dust, and some blocks. Also grab yourself some blocks to put the redstone on. It doesn't necessarily need to be the exact same thing I'm using, but I'm using cobblestone to place redstone on, just so you can see where the redstone is laid on which blocks are required for the redstone. So 2. Place another trapdoor next to it, then 3 blocks, and then, oh no, we don't need this. I'll place 4 blocks and then an empty block, like so. Then we need 1 redstone block next to this one, and a piston right there. You can slap this off with slabs, but we will do it in the end, because this is the highest layer and we don't want any mobs to be spawning in there. But this, you need to repeat this for the layers below that. So I'm just going to repeat it, and then again then another time, until you have something like this. If you have this, you can go to the next stage, which is placing a redstone repeater on one delay with a redstone behind it, a redstone repeater one delay with a redstone behind it. These three are just having redstone dust. And then for the other side, on this side you needed to place the fence gate. This is so if this layer pushes it to this side. So if this layer pushes it to that side with a piston like so, the trapdoor will be at the place where the mob is, so the mob will drop down instead of pushed sideways or get stuck. So you need a trapdoor right there. So next to the trapdoor will be the piston, like so. Below that block we have a solid block right there, one more. Let's see, this is the middle, so 1, 2, 3, and then a piston like so. Yeah, and then we repeat that same system for the other layers. So a trapdoor right there and a piston, then more blocks and another piston, and for the last layer the same story. So that's the way of the shifting floor, and that's how the shifting floor works. Oh, we forgot one redstone block right somewhere. Oh, there. These redstone blocks could be shorted, and they are only used once, so you can stack this, but you don't need to stack the redstone blocks. So for the wiring of these pistons, it's quite simple. All you need to do is just place a block after the piston with a redstone on top, and you can do that for all layers. This is the simple side, and that's the more difficult side, but this works. So if you've done this, we're just going to mark, at least I'm going to mark, where the borders are of the farm. So what you then need to do is just to stack this up. You can ignore the redstone blocks and just stack it up until the end, like this. So if you've done that, the farm would look something like this. So now we're going to start with the border. I use slabs, and slabs can be looked into. So we're gonna use different slabs for this, so you can see what's what. Do we have nice slabs? I'm kind of picky. We're gonna use these slabs. So nope, not on that one. These are the inside area. So what you're going to do is to slab around these pillars, and that meaning that between these slabs the witch could spawn. So I can remove the pillars. We know that this is the highest level they can spawn, so this is the top of your farm, if you wondered. Let's do it like that. Another one right there. So these are the borders of your spawning area. At the end we will cover it all up, but for the moment I'm just leaving it. So you are here for the redstone part. So grab yourself some more blocks for the redstone. What you're going to do is just go to the easy side, and that's this one, and then we auto repeater set to 2. So this would be the input of your device. So here would be the input, just turning everything on. Then redstone right there, and then goes down, and then the pulse need a delay of 8. This will make sure that all the witches drop down. So again, a delay of 2 to the next one. This repeater is exactly the same as that one. So again here, go down. It's a bit repetitive work, but it's nice, simple and compact. If you turn this on, you will see that all layers lift one by one. So that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, to the other side. Now all pistons are extended, so they are all right here. So now we're going to do the other part, and that's the part with this side. This side is a bit more complicated, but I designed it so if you say you are on a legacy server and you want to add a bit of time, you can add some more time to these, and these will let the mobs that are on this platform and dropping down, and they, before they land on this one, if this is moving before they are landed on it, you can increase this timer, and you don't have to do it on this side to do the factory redstone blocks. So as I've told you before, I'm breaking everything, you only need one redstone block. Don't forget to keep the doors open. So the only redstone block needed is the one on the front, like this one. This also counts for all the other layers, but I will not remove them in the video. So from that block, be aware I shifted the pistons, so it usually is there, but now it's there, 2 redstone, then I repeat it set to 2, then another redstone right there. I'm not going to do that because that would trigger the system, but not trigger this one. So like this. So what it will do is when this block reaches this place right here, a power will send through this with a 2-tick delay, sending power to this one. So this one is putting that way again, and then after another 2 ticks, these are set to that side. So do the same thing for the other levels. It's the same timings, the same stuff, just again. For the lower one, it's a bit more complicated, not that much. Just a 4-tick delay. Redstone dust right there, like so. It's different because of these because there's no layer below it. So this is the farm, and if we give it a quick pulse, you see it working. So to make sure it always receives a quick pulse, you need a sticky block facing up, like so. And this will make sure if you put a pulse right here, no matter how long it is, it will shorten that pulse. So we give it a pulse, a really long pulse, but it looks short. See it working. So another thing to do right now is to add the clock. I know it's not compact, but I didn't design it that way. It could be a bit more compact, maybe it could be a bit fast, I'm not sure about that. One of these needs to be regular, if I'm correctly, and just add a hopper timer right here, and I will do it below. So if you've done that, you're going to add a redstone block between those, and it will activate the system. Fun. Oh, like this. You can also make this not right, but it's sideways, but I always like this one better, so I'm just doing this clock like so. So for the clock timer, so you need a timer to put in a certain number. What I found mostly useful is 9, but it could be better. Keep on that side. So mostly 9. I like 9 the most. You can also try different numbers like 8. The lower number you get, how faster these will trigger and how faster these will let the mob drop down. But how lower this number gets, how more these pistons are moving, and the less witches can spawn. So the best number is somewhere around 9. The test I've done is with the number 9 in there. To turn the system off or on, you can use, I recommend using a lamp so you can see it. If you turn either of these 2 pistons on, like this, the system stops. If you turn it on, the system continues again where it left off. So turning it on. So now we have the whole system completed. the only thing to do is to cover it all up. I like to cover it up with slabs because you can see through slabs, but it will still be dark inside. So after that, your farm should look something like this. Just one thing to point out: if your inside does not look like this, but does look like this and is not dark, it needs to be completely dark like this. You can check this by going into your menu and then go to light, 0, 0 from sky, 0 from block. If that's not the case, the witches won't spawn. Or just you already hear them, they're already in the system like there. So to do this, these blocks, half slabs, if you just grab a full block like this, these blocks let light through from above, these don't. So if you want to do the top half of half slabs, you just need to make above half slabs or make them solid blocks. Like so. If you don't believe me, if I do a normal block right here, it's going to be a bit more light inside. That's making some more difficult. So if you've done that, the whole farm should look like this. Just one more thing to point out, don't forget these blocks on the border, they are between, and as you can see they do matter. So after that, the only thing to do, no more things to do by the way, we just start using slabs all over the place. The reason for this is to disable normal spawns, because normal mobs could be spawning here like zombies, and we don't want zombies to go into the redstone system. So just cover it all up with half slabs like so. I like to do that too, so no mobs can spawn on that. Not that the chance is big that that would happen. So do this for the whole farm. Also on this side, don't place blocks in front of the piston heads, only place them like I do. So if you've done this and you're done with it, the only thing left to do is to make the drop down zone. We will just drop the knobs down and they will die from fall damage, because mobs, witches are hard to kill because of they can drink fire potions, fire resistance potions, and so you cannot damage them with fire and all that kind of stuff. So a quick drop down is the easiest way to kill them. If you screw up somewhere and your system is stuck like this, these redstone blocks do not power the pistons. Update the blocks. Update. The best thing to do is update the block on the back, because if you don't, just remove that and place it, that would fix the whole system. This one is not fixed. As you can see, they are linear, and that shouldn't supposed to happen. Fixed. And the lowest one, like that. Also, what you could do if this happens, there's another trick to it. Remove this wire, and that also works. I don't expect that this will happen, but anyway. So now we need to do is to dig a hole. So from above, from field above, that's and that would be the corners of the hole. So you just continue that line. So let me do that. So if you've done that and dig the big hole, I dig the bigger hole than you need, just to show you what the point. So again, these blocks go down, and that are this one. So what I'm going to do is add another row of slabs, and I do this so I know where a real hole needs to be, like this. So that's the the place that the mobs will drop down, you can replace glass all the way down if you want to. They need a 20 block drop down at least. And at the bottom you can collect them with hoppers. But first the drop down part. I'm highly recommending still using solid blocks for this stage for a few blocks, just to get the lag spikes out of this area. Doing this would prevent light from going inside. The light of the outside needs to travel in the farm, then go up, and then these blocks don't have light level changing, because now they have a big high light level and they will change a lot of stuff. So I highly recommend putting slabs until somewhere right there. So if we're done with that, it would look something like this. Just to point out, if you have 30 blocks, this is the 30th block, and you drop them down, they will die. 29, they won't, but they will be one hit kills. So unless you want to make some kind of weird farm that you don't want to kill them, use 30 blocks. So you need to be counting. Let's turn up the music. I'm sorry. You need to be counting from this block. So there will be block 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. all the way down to 30. This will be the 30th block. If you're not sure about it, just do 31, 32, it doesn't matter. Then using hoppers to go all into one chest. The hopper is just connecting like this, and then they will go into this one. To turn the machine on, you need, I made the mistake, you need 2 sticky pistons right here. This one is sticky, and this one is sticky, so make sure you did that. I want to place a redstone block. Let me. Yeah. Make sure to place that redstone block in tune. To start the machine, make sure you have 2 sticky pistons, as I forgot to do. The clock needs to be somewhere around 9. It's circle wide, so you can change that. Then turn it on by flicking that in, by not sending power to the piston, and it will start raining witches. To improve your witches stat, you can start cave lighting, or as I mentioned before, you remove everything in a radius of 128 blocks, so no mobs will be spawning. This will lower the mob cap, and it will lower the mob amount, so there will be less mobs in the area. So the Minecraft want to make up with that and tries to spawn more witches. Also, setting this one to 16, not 17, 16, will improve the amount of drops you will get by quite some amount. So thank you guys for watching this tutorial. Hope to see you next time. Goodbye. Well, one thing that I forgot to tell you, sometimes these mobs get trapped and they don't want to go down on the highest layer. This is though because they are on the middle of the block, and when this block is moving, they are standing right here. So Minecraft moves that block towards there, and you can still stand in the middle of these 2 blocks. But if you just add another layer, they must stand on the block, so they cannot stand on both blocks and they will fall down. So just add a row of blocks, one you just keep that space, and then the blocks need to come like there. I like to do half slabs so you can still watch. Also the top of this roof was of half slabs. Upside down half slabs, upside down half slabs are solid on the highest side above, so they can spawn on that. You can prevent that, and that's about it. I now have still a nice time lapse for around an hour for you of this version tested from Xisumavoids. So this is a time lapse of Xisumavoid version and my version with exactly the same settings, with exactly the same world, with everything exactly the same, only his version is on the left one and my version is on the right one. The version we built is the right version, that's my version. You can click on Xisumavoids his thing to to go to his version and to check that out. He did an awesome job, but it wasn't fast enough for me, and it didn't quite work in 1.9 the way I wanted to. Also, my screensaver turned on, and it took around 10 minutes for me to discover that it turned on because I was working on my laptop. So I'm sorry for the loss of the screens right now, but it will turn on because I will find it out that I turned it off, and I didn't want to start all over with another hour time left because this was the second or the third one I started up. So I'm going to keep this one. You can see clearly that my version is doing a lot more. It's almost on its last row, while Xisumavoids version is still working on filling up the third row. The exact numbers will be in the screen in a couple of seconds, but my version is around, I think, 30% better. So his amount of block items he got is 1952, and I got 3320.